I started my digital marketing agency just at the age of 18, and within 1 year of starting it, I was able to generate upwards of 1 crore in revenue. And today I have upwards of 2000 plus clients while making millions of dollars in sale. And here's a no bullshit guide on how do you go about scaling your marketing agency. So step number one is stage one, which is what I like to call as product market fit. Okay, now this is usually recommended for the revenue range if you are doing anywhere between 0 to 3 lakhs per month. Now what happens is, for majority of the people, they start off as freelancers because they are really good at a particular skill, and then they would go about outsourcing some of those projects to their friends and family members, and suddenly the agency just becomes successful. The problem is that most people at this freelancing stage get started by actually acquiring clients using something called as referrals / word of mouth. So this basically means maybe your friend told you that, hey, here's a client who can actually get started, and you can actually sign them as a client and take that particular project. Or maybe you already knew somebody at your previous organization where you were working as an employee, and you thought, hey, this particular client, I can actually help them get amazing results, and that is when you decide to do freelancing. So most people at this stage are relying on referrals or word of mouth. The issue is, when you get clients using referrals or word of mouth, this is not a scalable acquisition channel. Because think about it, any successful agency you can think about, do you think that their only source of getting customers is through referrals and word of mouth? My second question to you is, do you think you will ever take personal training or fitness advice from a personal trainer who themselves are not in shape? Maybe they are obese, maybe they are not looking the best. Or would you take accounting services from an accountant or a financial advisor who is broke themselves? You won't do that, right? So my question is, why would any client take services from a marketing agency that, guess what, cannot market themselves? They won't, right? That's why your biggest concern or biggest goal, okay, write this down. Your biggest goal at this stage is to build a cold acquisition channel. Okay, so this means you have to be able to develop a system which allows you to get consistent sales with predictability and repeated customers coming into your pipeline every single day. Now you have a lot of options to go about doing this. Okay, there's no right or wrong. There are people who have mastered a lot of these channels. But what my recommendation to you would be, okay, beyond word of mouth, the first step that I would recommend is you should try out something called as outbound marketing. So according to this, what you can do is you can simply open up LinkedIn right now, okay? Or what you can do is you can go open up Instagram, or you can open up Facebook, whatever your platform of choice is, okay? The first thing that you can do is you can actually look at your existing connections, okay, or your existing followers. Now, I totally understand. Chances are that you have already exhausted those, right? So if you have already done that, no worries at all. But what you can do is you can start approaching these connections via DM, okay, and basically ask them if they have requirement for your services, and if they do, you would be very happy to actually talk to them one-to-one, get them on a free consultation call, give them advice regarding what areas of improvement can be done with their business through your marketing agency's help, and then guess what, you can actually sign them as a client. Now, doing this would be a lot easier because these people are already your connections. There is some level of trust, but the challenge comes when you go about actually approaching cold strangers on the internet. So you can use tools like Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, okay, or you can use basic LinkedIn Premium as well, okay, if you are planning to actually do this on LinkedIn, okay. And what you can do is you can use Boolean and string queries. For example, chances are that you want to target, dentist, okay. Then what you can do is you can simply go to Sales Navigator and just type dentist located in Delhi or South Delhi. Simply you will have a list of their profiles. You can start approaching them one-to-one, send them a DM, explain them about your services, get them on a one-to-one call, and boom. Now you have a scalable, repeatable channel that does not depend only on referrals and word of mouth, and would allow you to actually get customers. Now, in addition to LinkedIn, what you can also do is you can consider email, or you can consider cold email marketing as well. Now, there's a very, very cool plugin that is available. It's I think a Chrome extension, and it's called a Sales QL. Okay, you can literally go search that on the internet and download that. Now, when you are finding profiles of all these people on LinkedIn, you can also use the Sales QL plugin to actually extract the emails of all these individuals on the internet that you're trying to approach. And in addition to actually approaching them on LinkedIn, you can also send them cold emails. Okay, where you can just make those emails very, very personalized by saying something like, hey, first name, I recently came across your website on LinkedIn, or actually your profile on LinkedIn, and was really, really impressed with what you're doing. Congratulations on some sort of accomplishment that you saw on their website or on their LinkedIn profile. For example, congratulations on achieving 100 crore in GMV value, or congratulations on being able to successfully sign Shilpa Shetty as a brand ambassador. Whatever the case might be, right? You can actually make those emails personalized. And then what you can do is you can highlight a simple problem by basically telling these business owners that, hey, I noticed that you have ABCD problem on your website, or maybe on your videos, or basically on your ads, or basically your marketing. And I believe that we can improve those existing assets by maybe changing the graphics, maybe changing the video quality, or whatever expertise that you have. And I would be more than happy to show you a demonstration of the same. All I want to do is invite you to a free one-to-one consultation. This is how we have helped so and so people as well. Here's the social proof. Here are some of the client testimonials. Would you be interested in the same? When you send an email like this, and you are also approaching that person on LinkedIn, the chances of you getting a reply from them is really, really high. Okay. And just in case they do not reply to your emails or your LinkedIn posts, what I would highly recommend to you is at least add them as a connection on your LinkedIn, right? So that at least this person is connected and at least is able to see your post on a regular basis. And then the next thing, I think there's a lot of writing on this particular board, but the next thing that I would recommend is, I would recommend that you start posting daily. Start posting daily on your LinkedIn profile, so that these people, even if they do not reply to your emails, even if they do not reply to your LinkedIn connection messages, at least they are seeing your post on a regular basis. And this way you are omnipresent, always in front of them. And whenever this person, let's suppose in the future, requires marketing help, guess who they would think about when you're always in front of them? It'll be you. Right? So this is why I would highly suggest that this approach is really helpful. You can also do follow-ups via email. In case they do not reply to your email, you can say, hey, first name, just bumping this email up in case you did not see the same, right? And you can try out these approaches. So this is how it would look like. Your process would look something like this. Okay, you would be basically sending message. Okay, then somebody would actually accept your message, right? And then they would reply to you, and then there would be a one-to-one call, and then there would be sale. Okay, now in case they do not reply to your message, you are also sending them email. And if they do not accept it, you are also basically, if they do not actually accept your message or email, you are also posting content. And then the purpose is again that they are sending you, they are accepting your message requests or email, sending you a reply, and basically getting on a one-to-one call with you. So the purpose of this whole thing is the same. Okay, so this is what I would recommend, right? If you want to actually scale your agency, the first thing I would recommend is build a cold acquisition source. Okay, now in case you don't want to do outbound marketing, another approach that I could actually recommend to you is you can also do inbound paid marketing. Okay, now I personally love this method a lot, because what you can do is, rather than actually approaching strangers on the internet and messaging them one by one that, hey, come buy my services, and if you have the money to actually spend on ads as well, what you can do is you can simply run an ad. Okay, and what you can do is you can basically send people to a form. Okay, and after this form, people can actually book a call, okay, via like a calendar, and maybe you can use a software like calendly.com, whatever, right? Basically over here, people will fill some information about their requirements. Then they have the option to book a call with your team. And then there will be a one-to-one call. And then there would be a sale. So the point is that if you are able to actually spend money on advertisement, get eyeballs, right, you would be in a much better position to actually have inquiries every single day on automation, sitting on your email with book calls that you can talk to on a regular basis and close them as a client. This approach is a lot more scalable, and honestly, all the successful people that I know, at least in this space, who are really crushing it, ultimately really narrowed down to this and put this as part of their marketing approaches. It's also very difficult to crack, but if you are able to crack it, you have endless supply of leads. Okay. So the point is, if you want to scale beyond 0 to 3 lakhs per month, you need a consistent and predictable approach which you can use in order to get consistent inquiries and eyeballs to your business. Otherwise, imagine opening like an ice cream store, and that ice cream store has nobody visiting that store on a regular basis. If you do not get eyeballs to your business, you will not scale, right? So that is stage number 1, and that is what your priority should be. And if you want to learn more about how you can also get clients using ads or cold emails, there are a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. Feel free to actually watch them. I'll even give you the exact template that I used to land my first high ticket client. So that being said, let's get into stage number 2. Now over here, this stage is called as optimal scaling system. Okay. So what will happen at this stage, by the way, the revenue range for this could be anywhere between, let's suppose, 3 lakhs per month to 10 lakhs per month. I've seen agencies at a lot bigger scales as well go through this particular problem. But what will happen is, once you unlock the capability to actually get more customers, okay, suddenly you will have a lot of leads, a lot of inquiries, right? So you will be in demand. You'll be like, okay, I finally cracked this. I'm the rock star now. I'm actually making 3 to 5 lakhs a month. Now things are actually really good, right? So problem is, you will start getting so many leads that you will start taking every Tom, Dick and Harry as a client. You will think that, okay, this person wants SEO, no worries, I will give this person SEO service. This particular person wants YouTube editing, no worries, I will actually do that. This person wants to run advertisement, no worries, I can even do that. What about LinkedIn content creation? I will actually do that as well. I can actually be the top voice of LinkedIn in a day, right? And make this person a superstar. So you will start taking projects left, right, and center. And as a result of this, the problem that will happen is your time will start going down. This means you will become the bottleneck of your agency, right? Because you're dealing with so many clients, right? And so many projects, and you have so many inquiries also coming in. And it's just not a very good position to be in, because you are very overwhelmed. While you might look successful in the books, but you really are not, because you have now created a business where you are sort of trapped in employment, and you are basically like a glorified freelancer with a bunch of helping hands trying to actually get you through. The other thing that happens is your complexity increases, because think about this, right? You have one client where you are working on, let's suppose, a YouTube marketing project. The other client that you might be working on is, let's suppose, paid advertisement project. Okay, what will happen is your time, bandwidth and resources, let's suppose, that will go into, let's suppose, creating a YouTube marketing strategy would be a lot different than when that same time, bandwidth and energy and resources will go into creating a Facebook ad strategy, or maybe running some sort of paid inbound ads or whatever, right? And this will become really difficult for you, because now you have to become a master in 2, 3, 4 different things. And if you yourself cannot become a master, then you will have to hire people who are already masters in all these platforms and all these skills. And that is very expensive to do. And at your current scale, if you start paying such heavy salaries, it will be very difficult for you to actually become profitable, right? And on the other hand, if you keep taking on so many projects and you actually keep operating in this bhujia mode that you have running in, right, where you have like this fruit salad of like different kind of clients and variety, you will always be overwhelmed and you will never be able to actually scale properly, because you are sort of going to be like jack of all, master of none. And that is why the recommendation to you at this point would be, apply the rule of 1. Okay, so this is the solution that I want to give to you, right? Apply the rule of 1. Now, what exactly do I mean? If you want to simplify your agency, you want to create a simplified solution and a framework which will allow you to scale. Because remember, simple scales, fancy fails. Write this down: simple scales, fancy fails. Now, how do you go about doing this? Well, you have a look at all your clients and you have a look at all your offers. Okay, and you basically have a look at all the solutions. So when you apply the rule of one and you analyze all your clients, okay, write their name, write down how much revenue do they pay you, write down what exact problem you are solving for them, and write down how happy you are serving these particular clients. So for example, you have client Raj, Sham, okay, maybe you have Mohit, right? Or you have, let's suppose, Nancy, right? And then what you have is, let's suppose this particular client is giving you 1 lakh per month in revenue. This client is giving you 15K a month in revenue, right? And this particular client is giving you 50,000 in revenue, right? And let's suppose this client is giving you 15,000 a month in revenue. And the problem that you're solving for this particular person, let's suppose, could be maybe helping them with e-commerce, okay, performance advertisement. And this one with YouTube, this one maybe with Instagram Reels, maybe this one with some UI UX or web design, whatever, right? I'm just giving random examples completely. And let's suppose on a scale of 1 to 10, you feel like 10 out of 10 happiness working with Raj. You feel 8 over here, 6 over here, 3 over here, and maybe 7 over here. Okay. And you have this exact distinction in front of you. Okay. Now, how do you go about applying the rule of one? Well, option number one is you can keep doing what most agency owners do. They would keep serving more and more of these people, keep building more complex system. Then there would be an e-commerce agency. There will also be a YouTube agency. There will also be an Insta agency. There will also be a UI UX agency. And it's basically called a Faluda agency. Or what you can do is you can use the 80-20 rule, and you can see which is that one client which is paying me the maximum money, which is giving me the maximum happiness, and is also an area where I'm solving such a major problem, which has future growth and potential as well. And who is this particular client in this particular case? Well, if you're smart enough, guess what? It's Raj. So if I apply the rule of one, I could actually go about serving one client, which in this case would be, let's suppose, e-commerce store owners like Raj. Okay. I'm solving one problem, which is, let's suppose, e-com optimization with paid ads. Okay. And I'm giving them one solution, which is ads or performance marketing. And that's all, right? And just by doing this, I'm now able to actually simplify my marketing a lot. I could actually become one of the biggest agencies exclusively in this particular niche, because while all my competitors with 10 plus years of experience, budget, manpower, funding and whatnot are competing in this red ocean of all these generic clients that they're serving, I could actually become a specialist and, really differentiate myself from rest of the crowd. And guess what? I'll be able to win the battle, right? And the other benefit is my delivery and fulfillment part would be so systematized, because now I won't have to hire like 10 employees per different industries that I'm serving, per different problems that I'm solving for the different clients that I have. And the worst of all these other clients are not even paying me as much as Raj, right? And you might be thinking, but Rohan, if I say no to all these clients, my life would become very, very tough. I won't know how to actually go about actually getting new customers. Which brings me to the stage one, which is what I told you. You need to be able to actually have sufficient demand coming to your business. Otherwise, you will always operate in scarcity mode. And you will keep picking everybody who is probably not the best fit for your services. And that's why you'll always remain desperate. But when you have a lot of demand coming in, you get in the position to pick and choose the kind of customers that I want. And if your business, let's suppose, you are doing 1 lakh over here, let's suppose 1,50,000, 1,75,000, and maybe let's suppose you are doing 2 lakhs. Now you could actually have 4 of these additional clients with Raj, 5 of these clients, or you could just have 2 Raj paying you 1 lakh a month, and boom, your revenue stays the same. And suddenly when you become better at doing this, you are able to now increase your demand to even more, so that you can charge 1.5 lakh for the same. And now if you are able to get 2 Raj type clients, boom, instantly you just increase your revenue to 3 lakhs a month from 2 lakhs a month, while actually having less complexity, while actually working with lesser people, while actually, really destroying your mind because you literally did not have the time bandwidth. And make a note of one important thing. This is the stage where your credibility would matter the most. Okay. If you take on more work than you can chew, right, what will happen? If one client is upset, they will put online a review or something, and guess what? Your entire actually cycle becomes slower because now people are reading that review before making a purchasing decision. So be careful, worry about the quality, make sure that you're serving your best clients, and use the power of one to actually build this optimal scaling system so that you're ready before you take things to the next level. Make sense? So congratulations, now you have cleared stage one where you have now developed a system to get leads predictably. Number two, you now have an optimal selling system where you are using the power of one to simplify your life and also increase your profits because you're now narrowed down on one type of client. Just a quick note in case you're wondering, but Rohan, won't I limit my market if I'm just targeting one niche and only focusing on solving one problem? Absolutely, you would. But think about any successful company like Facebook that started only by serving Harvard students, which is just one particular niche, and Amazon, which only started by selling books to just book readers. And then once they actually scaled, they were able to actually take things to the next level and, of course, expand their niche. And you know what Amazon does today, right? So start small, build systems, and when you scale, of course, keep expanding your niche. That is the golden rule of advice. That being said, let's come into stage number 3, which is productize your services. Okay. So you, despite, let's suppose at this stage, I think approximately this would be at 8 lakhs a month to rupees 15 to 20 lakhs a month. Okay, a lot of people at this stage would also suffer from this. Now what happens is, even though you have applied the rule of one and you are now focusing on, let's suppose, a singular niche and solving one particular painful problem, the problem happens again time. Because see, no matter what you say, this is an agency business which depends upon human beings, and the constraint that all human beings have, irrespective of the fact that you're Mukesh Ambani or you are an ordinary person, right? You just have 24 hours. So when you have limited amount of time, you cannot obviously practically work. And of course, you cannot hire the most expensive staff at this point of time as well. Technically, you can do that, but then your profit margins would of course suffer a lot. And therefore, we need to start thinking of much more creative ways as well in order to go about solving our problem. So our time, where exactly would be going right now? It would be going into one-to-one calls with clients. Maybe you're doing onboarding clients calls with the client. Okay, maybe chances are that you're doing a lot of admin activity. Okay, maybe like, replying to emails, Slack messages, WhatsApp, right? Or chances are that you are still dependent upon Google Sheets. Okay, maybe you are using, Google Forms and all those like things that you have just bought randomly, free versions of here and there softwares, just so that you can pull the pieces together and somehow make this agency work, right? But all these systems are now breaking. All this time and everything that you're putting into all these things is also breaking. You're also hiring people, but training these people, managing them, and doing all those things is also taking a lot of toll on your bandwidth. Okay, and that's why we need to think about how do we go about productizing and systematizing our services. Okay. So what we can do is, at this stage, I would highly recommend think about how can I go about helping and serving my clients without actually, increasing my costs, and how do I go about creating better systems. So for example, here, let's talk about onboarding. Here at Uability, when somebody actually joins and decides to work with us, instantly as soon as they join, they get an automated contract sent to them. And then they have an onboarding video that they have to actually watch, which will basically instruct them about what all they have to do. Then there's an automated form that they have to fill where they will provide us all the relevant information about their business. Then there's a proper one-to-one call that gets done. There's also an automated email sent, which consists of all the important links and all the important SOPs that they need to follow. There's also reminders sent to them regarding when exactly the next call will take place. There's also like a proper a system where they can actually see that, okay, this is when the due date is, this is the person who's responsible for this particular project, this is the progress that we have been able to make so far, this is when the next call will take place. And by doing this, even though this took us like probably 1 month to develop, This has allowed us to save so much time and so many errors which would have been there if we were to actually do all these things manually, or if I was to actually have somebody actually do that full time on a regular basis and take full charge of this. That would have costed me much more money. But with the help of online tools that you can use Zapier, you can use Pabbly, you can use Asana, you can use Trello, you can use Notion. With all these softwares that you have at hand, you have the flexibility to create these systems which would basically allow you to automate all these processes that you have. So this is what I would recommend. Then comes the admin task, right? Are you still opening your emails and sending messages to people on a regular basis, or replying to your client queries and whatnot, and even filling data on Google Sheets? Guess what? You are doing tasks which are 5-10 rupees per hour activities, whereas you can actually be doing tasks which could be 1 lakh per hour activities. But since there is nobody else to actually do all these tasks on your behalf, you are the one responding to these emails and doing all these tasks. So my recommendation at this stage would be to actually get like an admin help, or like an operations help, or maybe like an executive assistant to clear away all these tasks from your calendar. Okay, so what you can do is just wake up in the morning, set an alarm. Let's suppose you wake up at 8 a.m. And you start your work at 9 a.m. Set an alarm from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., 11 to 12, 12 to 1, etc. all the way till 8 p.m. whenever you end your day. Okay, track what exactly are you doing in that particular hour. What you can do is just simply have a pen and paper, or you can use the Notes app on your phone and just write down, okay, replying to email. Okay, for example, that's a task that you were doing. Maybe replying to client, okay, or maybe doing onboarding call. Whatever these tasks are, just then do this particular activity for 7 days and analyze where exactly your time went. And then I want you to analyze, as the founder of this company, do you think you were actually productive? Do you think you were actually doing tasks like sales, marketing, and strategizing, which will allow you to actually grow your business? Or were you busy doing all these administrative work, which honestly, if you train somebody and send them a Loom video explaining how to actually get this done, it can actually be automated. So what exactly are you doing? And if you are doing all of these admin related work, I want you to start hiring an executive assistant immediately who can actually take away all these tasks, where you don't even have to lift a finger and all these things get done. So far we have concluded that you need to build software and systems, you need to get rid of administrative work, and you need to basically buy back a lot of your time. And all these Google Sheets and all those things that you're using, it's time to get rid of that, become professional, integrate Asana, integrate Trello, or whatever is best for your case. Okay, there are a lot of YouTube videos which explain the difference. I don't think I need to make another one on that. Then comes hiring, right? So once you have actually hired an EA, an administrative person, usually at this stage, the founder actually has two options. Okay, so you have the option to actually hire customer success, or you can actually hire sales. Okay, now it really depends. If you are a founder who is really good at the skill, maybe you started as a freelancer like how I talked about, and you are an excellent person who loves to deliver work to the customers, and you really want to take charge of that, then in my opinion, you should stick to that particular thing. And if you are like somebody who's like, Rohan, I just want to work with the customers all day, I don't want to worry about sales, right? Then guess what? You need to hire a really talented salesperson. Okay. On the other hand, if you are like, Rohan, I love to just close deals, but after the deal is done, all this headache that comes along with managing the client, now I don't want to do it. If that is you, then you need to think about, how can I actually hire somebody in customer success who can really take charge of this particular department and really allow my clients to have amazing experiences and get them amazing results, right? One quick note that I would highly recommend to you: before you hire for any of these positions, please make sure that you at least have the knowledge to be able to actually do this successfully. For example, before I hired my first salesperson, I myself had done upwards of 500 sales calls and had closed hundreds of deals myself by getting on the phone myself. And if I did not know how to go about doing that, then I wouldn't have actually taught my sales team how do you go about closing, because they won't just come up with this information, and it's the job of the founder to actually go validate the sales process and actually see if there is demand for whatever you're doing. And if you do not do that and you expect that salesperson will learn on their own, guess what? You are under high misconception, because how would you know if that salesperson is doing the right thing? How would you coach that salesperson? How would you tell them, no, change your tonality on this call. Actually, you should handle this objection. I need to think about it in this particular way. It's going to be very difficult unless you are willing to pay a lot of money to this particular salesperson, maybe some VP of sales or whatever you are doing. Although I've tried hiring that as well, paid a 55 lakh per annum salary, did not work out as you would expect. Okay, you still need to be in the ground, you still need to be able to train, and if you don't have that expertise, it's going to be really tough unless you have another co-founder who's really excellent at sales. When it comes to client success as well, I'm not saying that you need to be completely good at the skill. Although for me personally, before I hired my first account manager as well, I had done hundreds and thousands of calls with my customers where I really understood their challenges and really understood what exactly do they require before I told anyone else to actually carry this baton on my behalf. So make sure that you have experience before you hire for these critical positions. Maybe, I'm not saying you need a lot. If you're into sales, at least try closing 5 deals yourself, at least doing 30 calls yourself, right? Get that experience, get those sales call recordings so that you know how it feels. And same for customer success. At least serve 5 clients, at least serve 10 clients, get the experience, understand everything, and then go about hiring for this particular position. And when you unlock these hires and when you have time, boom, you are now in a position to actually scale your agency, because now you can actually get sales on demand, you can actually fulfill customers on demand, you have an acquisition source, and you have less complexity because you have software as an EA, an operations person, taking care of your day-to-day work. Awesome. So now you are in a very good position because you have finally bought back a lot of time. So now comes stage number 4, which is the second last stage, and this is called as becoming a master manager. Okay, so what happens is at this stage, a lot of founders think, okay, chalo, now I have a salesperson, I have a EA, I have a customer success person, I am the boss now. Now what will happen is I will just sit, or maybe I'll just go to Bali, and somehow this team will make me a lot of money and I'll be happy and successful, because that is how they show you in the movies, correct? But that is far from the truth. Okay, it doesn't work like that. And I have personally experienced that myself, and because of my limited beliefs, I thought, okay, this is how you go about running a company. You just be the boss and suddenly, people just make money. Doesn't work. What you need to do is you need to now see that the problem that starts happening is you have like this mini community, mini team, right? You have 10, 30, 40 people, okay? And what happens is these people are doing actual work. They are interacting with your customers, okay? Mostly, think about the customer success person. They are directly talking to your customers. Think about the salesperson. They are directly talking to your prospects. This means these people are the first point of contact regarding your company. If the first impression is not the best, tell me, what would the customers think? Do you think you will actually be able to have a reputable agency in the long term? Probably not. And this is when you have to step up and really be in a position where you can actually become a master manager. At this stage, the biggest mistake a lot of agency owners do is they get distracted, okay? Because the revenue range is anywhere between 20 lakhs a month to even 1 CR a month. This is when they think, okay, so now I've cracked it, I should probably appear on podcasts now, okay? Because now I want to show people that, oh, look, I've become successful. Or maybe, now at this stage, they think that I should write a best-selling book. Okay, so that I can tell people like, wow. Or maybe now I have cracked this agency game, now I should teach other people. So I should launch a course, right? Or maybe I should become an influencer, start posting reels every single day on the internet and try to actually build my personal brand, because that's what Alex Hormozi did. But the problem at this stage is, imagine this, right? It's like you have this building that needs like foundations to actually, really hold itself. And your agency is at a very fragile stage, okay? If some earthquake happens, some massive wind comes, your entire building can actually shake and be destroyed. So therefore, the most important thing that you need right now is focus. Do not get distracted, okay? All you need to worry about right now is making your team much more efficient and richer and much more quality. Right? You need to start focusing on their culture. You need to start thinking about how exactly are they interacting with their customers. So, for example, at this stage, your entire goal should be QC, which is quality check. That's all, right? And I did this for approximately a year or two of my company, where I was the sole manager, making sure almost everything gets vetted through me. So this means I was quality checking all the onboarding calls that took place. My question is, when was the last time you as the founder really heard how exactly your customer success team really interacts with your customers? When was the last time you actually gave them feedback on it? And then it comes down to reviewing a lot of sales calls. How is the salesperson pitching to your customers? Are they pitching in a decent way? Are they ethical? Are they over promising, under promising? What exactly is happening, right? And how does that experience really look like? So therefore, QCing that and quality checking that is really, really important. The other task that you have to do is you have to provide feedback to your team, which is constructive, because if you're not doing that on a regular basis, how exactly will they improve and become really, really better at whatever they are doing? It won't be possible. And then you have to think about culture and protecting that, because as I said, this is a very fragile stage. If you're like around under 50, 100 people, this will really, really matter a lot, because this could be the break or make stage of your company. Okay, this is where either you'll have a great culture where everybody loves it, everybody respects each other, or you'll have a very toxic, politically incorrect culture where everybody's just like crying and always saying bad things about each other. You have to be the founder and really protect it. And you are the source of the culture, because guess what? It is your company. Nobody else will come from outside and tell you this is how the culture of your company should be, right? So this is what you need to start focusing on at this particular stage, and do not get distracted with the other things that I told you in mind, because the stronger frontline team that you can develop, whether it comes to customer success, whether it comes to sales, whether it comes to marketing, whether it comes to even the finance positions and whatnot, the better position you'll be in, because now you'll have a very strong building which is ready for stage number 5. Let's get to that. So the next stage, which is stage 5 or the last stage, is the stage that I am at, which is called as the innovation stage. Now the revenue scale at this point would be above 1 CR, right? So ideally between 2 to 3 CR a month. And honestly, this is like, I can only tell you from my experience, because I myself haven't scaled beyond this, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. But I'll tell you from my experience what exactly I'm doing and how I'm thinking, and probably how you can also model what I'm doing in order to grow. So at this stage, what happens is you have a pretty solid team. Okay. In case you do not, you should already have like a C-suite. Okay. So this basically means now you have leaders. Okay. Earlier you were just a manager. Okay. So let's suppose here's an employee. Okay. And this is you. Please excuse my beautiful art. If this person has anything they want, sir, I'm sick. Sir, I need a off. Sir, I don't know, like how do you do A, B, C, D task? This person messages you. Okay. And you respond to this person. So basically you are their manager, right? Now what you need to do, if you really want to scale, you need to add a layer here, because what will happen is the number of direct reports that you will have will increase significantly. You will have, let's suppose the accounts department messaging you, 3 people from there. You'll have the marketing department, 4 people from there messaging you. Then you have the sales department, and so on and so forth. As a result, you are now clogged. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to develop leaders. And these people will be the bridge who will do the management of all these divisions on your behalf and then report to you directly. Okay. So how exactly will this work? Well, what will happen is, let's suppose you have the marketing division, you have the sales division, you have the finance division, you have the, let's suppose, operations division, you have the legal division, you have HR division, of course, right? And then you have R&D and, of course, product improvement division, right? All these people must have a leader. Okay, as you can see, and they all must report to you. And as a result of this, guess what? You'll be in a position to manage not more than eight direct reports. Now, why 8 direct reports? Because the rule by Jeff Bezos, ex-CEO of Amazon, is that if your team is so big that you can't even sit and share a pizza together, the team is too big. Okay, it won't work out. So these people now need to report to you, and these C-suite leaders, you have to focus your time and attention into developing them, so that you are now in a position where you can literally work less and your company keeps making more and more money, because these leaders are now equipped with a KPI to grow each department. And this is how you scale. In addition to this, where exactly would your time go? In addition to developing your C-suite, in addition to developing your leaders, your time should go into innovation. Because now the question is, Rohan, okay, I have now time. What do I do with it? You know, like I have these leaders who are doing it. What do you do, Rohan, the whole day, right? So this is when you think about the future. Okay, so for example, right now at this stage of my company, we have scaled pretty good and pretty significantly, and we already have, like, you know, whatever systems and processes that we have, we are already working on that, making it better, improving that. But now me as a founder can always question and think, Rohan, what else can I do which would allow me to just act in which will allow me to actually achieve three things. Okay, the first thing is, how can I get more customers for my business, because that's how we'll grow, right? How can I make existing customers more valuable, or how can I increase the brand slash enterprise value of my company? Okay, so these are the kind of decisions that you start thinking at this stage. Now, for me, example, I already had, like, suppose, you know, we had cracked, when it comes to getting more customers, we had already cracked ads, where we were successfully running and mastering one funnel, which is the video sales letter funnel. Then we had also done email marketing. We sent a lot of emails, right? And in addition to that, we had also done outbound marketing, right? In addition to that, we thought, okay, what else can we do? So I decided to actually post valuable content on the internet, just like how I'm recording this video for you. We also post content on Instagram where people can actually see your reels. So we are doing pretty good in those areas. But in addition to this, now that I have systems for all these 5 things, what else can I do? So I tried out another marketing funnel where I'm basically hosting this 3-day live event, which is a workshop that you can go check out at onepagebusinessplan.in, which will now allow us to actually get more customers, because at the end of the 3-day event, I'll be having people who would know much more about me, about the company. They would have built a trust along with a brand, because these people might be individuals who, let's suppose, have been watching my YouTube videos, they have been watching my ads and whatnot, but they still need more engagement with me. They need a little bit more nurturing and whatnot. Therefore, for these individuals, I decided, hey, why not also host a 3-day workshop, right? Or a 3-day challenge. So this means I start thinking, okay, how can we get more customers by innovating on that front? Then it comes to existing customers. How do we go about making them more valuable? So after serving our customers, we realized that, hey, something that they all required were hackathons, tournaments, challenges, right? So what we did is we actually got a lot of people into a group, and we hosted this challenge for 14 days where we said that, hey, the person with the maximum clients at the end of this challenge will actually get cash prizes and awards that will really incentivize them. And so many people participated in this challenge, and as a result of this, at the end, we had so many success stories, so many people crushing it, so many people actually leaving positive reviews and making a lot of money. And this allowed us to actually make our existing product even more valuable, because by the end of this challenge, these people rated a fantastic rating, which means that our net promoter score went upwards of 70, which makes us part of the top 10% companies in this industry. I mean, most agency and consultants don't even know what NPS is, so I'm not even going to get into that. But point is that the third thing that we could do is thinking about how can we do brand slash how can we go about increasing the enterprise value of the organization. So not too long ago, we actually spent lakhs and lakhs of rupees on this particular website, which you can go check out at yourability.in. And this is where I spend a lot of my time. Like, how can we go about making the branding of our organization a lot more enhanced? How do I make the prestige value look super high? And that is when we decided to actually hire one of the best web design agencies and develop, one of the most stunning websites that I've seen, at least in this space. So yeah, this is how I go about thinking, okay, what else can I do with my time so that we achieve these 3 things, right? So that being said, this is the video on how do you go about scaling your agency literally from 0 to at least 2 to 3 CR a month. Beyond that, if I myself make it, I will be more than happy to actually share those lessons with you on this YouTube channel. Till then, please do share this video with a friend who is also launching an agency, or maybe they already run an agency and they're planning to actually take things to the next level. Like this video and let me know in the comments below what you think. I would be more than happy to actually make videos around this topic. Rohan Thavan here, and see you next time.